I'm one of these people that spent their entire life trying to please everyone. I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but I am a people pleaser. I had always defined myself and my worth by what others thought about me. I want to tell you a little bit about my life in 2016. At this time, I had a number of roles. I was a wife, a mother of twins, a manager at work, a sister, a daughter, the list goes on. And I thought I was performing these roles pretty well. In my mind, I had a checklist of things I needed to do to perform my roles well, and my goal was to tick those boxes. As long as everyone else was happy, I was okay. I could define myself by the roles I played. Well, in 2017, my marriage ended. We sold our family home, and I became a single mom to the twins. In an instant, so many of my roles changed. I felt really out of control, and I felt really alone. I spiraled downward into a pretty dark place. And it was in this place that I realized I had no idea who I really was. This is where the story of designing myself begins. When you invest the time to discover yourself and take the time to get to know who you are, you will find your life's purpose. By designing yourself, you can change the world. So let me begin with a question. Have you ever applied for a job? Most of us have had this experience at some point in our lives. So what's the first thing you think about when you apply for a job? Is it about your skills and the strengths that you have to offer? Or do you immediately compare yourself to others who might apply and think about what they have that you don't? See, we're taught that when competing for jobs, we need to make ourselves stand out from others. We might look at others and think, they have something I don't. Or maybe we just look at ourselves and think, I'm not good enough. This kind of thinking puts us in a deficit model where we feel a sense like we're somehow lacking or don't measure up. It's amazing how much power a simple job opportunity can have over us. It can also bring up unconscious things like, how much social capital do I have? Or does my level of privilege in life advantage me or disadvantage me? This is something we all go through when applying for jobs. We try to fit ourselves into the requirement of an employer or a job rather than searching for work that we find meaningful or that's well suited to our unique purpose. We need to think about work differently. So why do we work anyway? Sure, there are practical reasons to work, like earning a living and having money to survive. And these are important reasons. But I'm speaking today to those of us who want more than that. Those of us who want to make a real difference in the world. We spend a lot of time at work. Do some quick math with me. Let's say the average person spends about 40 hours a week at work and works 52 weeks of the year. That's over 2,000 hours per year spent at work. Now take this one step further. Let's say we work for about 45 years of our adult life. When we multiply that out, that's over 90,000 hours spent at work. Have you asked yourself, what kind of a difference do you want to make in your 90,000 hours? What if we could think about this differently? What if we could think about our work as our mission or purpose in life? We all have a why. Our why is the things that drive us, that shape what we think about and what we care about. Shouldn't the work we choose to do be aligned with our own personal sense of why? I don't know about you, but 90,000 hours sounds like a long time to me. And I'd rather spend those hours using my strengths and who I am to make a difference in the world. When you invest the time to discover yourself and you take the time to practice your unique strengths, you will find your life's purpose. By designing yourself, you can change the world. But how do you do this? During the time I spent learning about myself and discovering who I was, I discovered a process called human-centered design thinking. It's now central to my life and my career. Design thinking is a process for innovation and problem solving that requires us to build deep empathy for the people we design for. When we empathize with people, we can design solutions that better meet their needs. Design thinking requires us to be vulnerable, to develop the level of empathy needed to really understand another person's experience. We need to dig deep within ourselves and understand who we really are. I've now coached many people through the process of design thinking, and I've seen the transformation that happens when they do this work and start to discover themselves. Actually, I need to pause here and share something with you. I'm terrified right now. Standing on this stage is so challenging for me. Like many people, I have a fear of public speaking. My palms are sweaty, my knees are shaking, my heart's racing, and these thoughts are running through my mind like, who am I to give this talk? And what do I really have to offer? I feel like an imposter. My work has taught me that everyone feels like an imposter a lot of the time. I have a choice. I could give in to those feelings, or I could have the courage to trust that the process of designing myself has given me some valuable insights to share. The people I've witnessed design themselves become confident and empowered, like they can take on the world. Are we bold enough to say we're changing the world? I think so, because changing the world starts with knowing yourself and what you bring to this world. This process isn't immediate or monumental, and there's no right or wrong way to design yourself. Design thinking has some lessons and practices that work, and I'd like to share those with you today. The first thing I've learned is that people who design themselves learn how to empathize deeply with themselves and others. The Oxford Dictionary defines empathy as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. If we want to empathize with others, we must also understand ourselves. What brings me joy? What am I doing when I'm really shining? And how could I get more of that in my life? So when I realized I had no clue who I was, honestly, I didn't know where to start. So I went to the beginning, and I started to have all these memories. I remembered I was a performer. I loved to sing. I would choreograph dances and perform them. I would write and perform plays. And all these memories may seem silly, but it helped me realize that creativity is so important to me. I need to be creating. And I noticed that when I was creating, I was surrounded by other people who were creating too. I need to lead a team of creative people. I need to inspire other people to create. I continued this work of self-empathy over many years, and I've learned so much about myself, the good and the bad. In fact, I really believe that design thinking and building empathy for myself has led me here to this stage to speak to all of you today. I want to empower you to be the creators of your own futures. There are many ways to build self-empathy. You could start by journaling some self-reflections and see what you come up with. You could think back to your own childhood and what memories do you find that help you understand yourself better. Or you could speak to people in your life who love you and know you well and ask them what they see as your top strengths and abilities. No matter what method you choose, I encourage you to embark on this empathetic journey of self-discovery and just see what resonates. The second thing I've learned is that people who design themselves cultivate curiosity and know how to ask really good questions. Remember when you were a child and you wanted to know everything about how the world works? That childlike state of curiosity is so important for self-discovery. We might see things about ourselves but not really understand or know what they mean, so we need to ask more questions. Design thinking has a structure for asking questions, such as, what could this tell me? Or how might I? So when I saw that creativity was so important to me, I asked myself a number of questions. I asked, how could I use my creativity to help others? Where have I seen myself do this before? And what do I want to create more of? As I dared to ask these questions, new answers started to emerge. There's a magic to curiosity. When we're brave enough to ask new questions for ourselves, new answers will appear. The next thing I've learned from design thinking is that people who design themselves generate ideas and explore numerous possibilities. Design thinking has a concept that we use a lot. It's called diverge and converge. And it means that we have to explore infinite possibilities before we can narrow them down. When you're designing yourself, you can start to brainstorm and ideate new ideas. They can be anything. It's a dreaming stage where anything is possible. We aim for wild ideas. It isn't about being impractical. It's about finding ideas that excite us. I wanted to generate ideas about how I could lead and create and support others in being their best. My goal was really to try to ideate ways that I could spend 80% or more of my time working in my strengths. As I started to come up with ideas and see the possibilities, this became like jet fuel for me. And these ideas excited me more than things like salary or job location. These were priorities I had had in the past. As I ideated, new possibilities started to emerge all around me. You see, once we shift our focus to looking at who we are, great opportunities will emerge naturally. Sometimes these opportunities emerge quickly, and sometimes slowly, but they do emerge. The next thing I've learned is that people who design themselves see failure as learning. Okay, so I know, to many of us, failure is a dirty word, and I get that. But in life, inevitably, we will try and fail. People who design themselves get back up again because they see failure as learning. I have failed in my life. More times than I'd like to admit. I have tried at things, both personally and professionally, and I have failed. But I can share with you that I've learned more from the sting of my own failures than I have from any course I've ever taken in school. In design thinking, we have a practice called prototyping. This is where we take an idea and we want to develop a prototype or something that we can take into the world for people to test. We want to show it to the people that we're designing for. And of course, we want to know what works about it. But when we design our prototype, we actually know that it's going to fail because we want to see what doesn't work. We want to be able to design the next prototype to be better and the one after that even better. You see, in design thinking, failure is built into the process because failure is learning. I've been fortunate enough to have great people and mentors in my life around me when I've experienced failure. And I'm so grateful because these people have helped pick me back up off the floor and find the learning in the failure and be able to move forward with confidence. Designing yourself will inevitably involve failure. But with failure comes new resilience, and we emerge stronger and with more confidence. Finally, but I think most importantly, people who design themselves find the support of a community of belonging. Whether we're introverted or extroverted, the need to find a sense of community and feel a sense of belonging, these are universal human needs. We all need to find our people. And right now, we're living in a time where disconnection and isolation are so common. I know how it feels to be alone. There's been many times in my life where I felt so alone. Even times when I've been surrounded by other people, yet inside I felt completely alone. It's a brave thing to reach out to others. And I think the times we're living in are calling us to this kind of bravery. There's a practice in design thinking that I think illustrates this need for community really well. We call it yes and. And what it is let's say we're brainstorming and someone has an idea. So you have an idea and you're going to say your idea. And I like your idea and it inspires me with a new idea. I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to say my idea. And this process of yes, and is going to continue and continue. And it starts to build this generative, creative energy, like a snowball effect. And all of a sudden, we realize that the ideas that are being generated in this space are not the result of any one individual in the room, but the result of the community. The work of designing yourself inevitably will involve some moments of quiet introspection alone, but we need to find a community of belonging. So, to summarize, design thinking teaches us that to bring your inner change maker to life, you can build self-empathy, cultivate curiosity, explore new possibilities, embrace failure, and find a community of belonging. Every moment spent designing yourself is time well spent. You have an inner change maker just waiting to be discovered and known. So I'll end on this. How do you want to use your life? It's a brave choice to design yourself, and you get to make that choice. I'm so glad I made the choice to design myself. It hasn't all been great. There's been a lot of hard things I've learned along the way and things I've had to heal and recover from. But opportunities beyond my wildest dreams started to flow into my life almost immediately when I started to be able to live from a place of who I really was. Today, I still have roles in life. We all do. But I can be a confident single mom, an authentic partner, a leader and innovator, an author, and even a speaker on this TED stage, all because I know who I am and I can live from that place of authenticity. I do want to change the world, but changing the world starts with knowing myself and living from that place of authenticity. You are exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment. You could start to design yourself today simply by taking one action of self-empathy or ideating one new possibility for yourself. There's a voice inside you ready to speak and show you who you are if you're willing to listen. So how will you use your 90,000 hours? Will you design yourself to change the world? Thank you.